Hi, it's Lisa. And it's Friday, so that means that it is Let's Talk Friday. Let's Talk Friday. That's right, it is Friday, and I have something to talk about today. So, you're going to have to bear with me because it's a little bit complicated. Even in my own head, as I'm thinking about getting this message out, it's a little complicated. Because you remember last week I talked about having peace where you are, even if you're thinking of moving abroad, like the importance of having peace just where you are and not. So I kind of felt like I left you guys out there on a limb on that because, it's not that simple, right? It's not as simple as just find peace where you are, find peace. Because peace itself is pretty complicated. John Lewis talks about trouble, and we know trouble can be bad, but then there's good trouble as well. So that's kind of my take for today, that there can be, sometimes a lack of peace is good, right? You're like, what? Sometimes the search for peace, that's what you should be doing. You should be searching for peace. So sometimes recognizing a lack of peace in your life is a good thing to get you going on the path of searching for where your peace is or what you need to do to have peace. Now, it also gets further complicated because sometimes, oftentimes, peace does not mean that there's a void of trouble. No. Peace does not mean that the storm is over. No. Because you can have peace in the midst of trouble. You can have peace in the midst of a storm as well. A storm in your life. You can have peace when your children have gone bonkers, right? But you can have peace when you still have peace when the political environment is like crazy, right? But you can still have peace in the midst of that. But sometimes your peace is extricating yourself out of a situation, out of dealing with some of the things that's affecting you and could affect your family. So that's what I want to talk about today. Just the idea that, hey, you may not have peace where you are right now, but that could be an invitation for you to start looking for ways, pathways toward peace. Okay? And then that's where it varies, right? Because the answer for you can be very different. And so here in Panama, where Craig and I live, we are expats in Panama. We have been here for about 9 months now, about 9.5 months now, permanent residences in Panama. So we are seeing, of course, a huge influx of expats into the Panama City area. Huge, like massive. I think I mentioned in another video that I think it might be likened to like the Great Migration, the next Great Migration of Black folk out of the United States, not necessarily just to Panama, but to other countries as well. Mexico, Belize, Portugal, Italy, like people, Thailand, people are finding solace in many other places too, outside of the United States. But what's interesting to me is that the people that I am meeting here, they have all kinds of stories, right? And they are inspiring stories. So a lot of the people here, not all, but a lot of the people here are retirees, and they are coming under the pensionado visa, which is for people who have pensions, but not all. Lately, we're meeting a lot of people, a lot of families that are coming, teenagers, and they're putting kids in school, and so just all different types of walks of life that people are making the decision to leave the United States of America. So It's also interesting to me that I'm meeting people with handicaps, with disabilities, with health issues. I'm meeting people with a lot that could have a lot of reasons to not leave the United States, right? That I'm too old to leave the United States. I'm meeting people 75, 80 that are moving with disabilities like stroke, past stroke victims that are still recovering, Parkinson's, like all types of issues that would make one say, oh no, I have to stay here. I have to stay here next to, with all the things that I know. And no, these people are not. They are still finding their peace outside in the United States. And they've done their research and they're finding the things that can help them here in Panama. And then those who have children, teenagers, just the challenge of raising teenagers in normal situations, right? So then to be raising them in a foreign country is also daunting. So I admire all these people that I'm meeting that are making the tough decisions, but are finding peace in their decision. So that doesn't mean it's not difficult. That doesn't mean that you still got to get here and find your tribe. You got to get to where you're going and find the resources you need. You still have to do all those things. So there we are. Peace is not without issues. Finding peace is not saying there's no trouble. You miss your family. There are things that are happening. But that doesn't, the peace though, that you have peace about your decision is the thing that is important. So I know it's complicated. It's complicated, but life is complicated. So walking in faith is complicated because there's, you have doubt. But the scriptures say, Lord, help me with my doubt. Walking in the path of peace is complicated because not everybody will understand what you're doing. Nobody will, and your individual peace is so unique to you, right? Because nobody else understands what gives you peace. So it's difficult to explain to those around you as well of why you're making the decisions you're making, why you're doing what you're doing, why you're making the choices that you are. But those things, the peace, the faith, all that's what's going to help you, helps me to get to my divine destination and doing the things that I am called to do by God, and things that, are in my DNA. Those are things that are in your DNA, the things you are purposed to be doing when you're following peace and you're getting there by faith. All right. Thanks for hanging out with me this morning. Happy Friday. Have a good weekend. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for sharing the videos if they're helping you. All right. You know what to do. Be blessed. Be blessed. Be blessed today.